A few years ago, I made the decision to spend a year in Mexico, a choice that didn't pose much difficulty. I had long held a desire to explore a Spanish speaking country, and so I did just that. With sufficient savings to sustain myself in Guadalajara for the year, I supplemented my income by teaching English on the side. Immersing myself fully in the local culture and environment proved instrumental in my rapid acquisition of Spanish phrases and vocabulary. Within just a few weeks, I found myself conversing with locals, confidently ordering food in Spanish, and asking for directions to the train station. My stay in Guadalajara was a delightful experience, highlighted by my insatiable love for the incredible empanadas available there. Surprisingly, I didn't experience much homesickness or culture shock. Mexico felt oddly familiar, sharing profound similarities with my own culture, such as its seasoned cuisine, hospitable residents, and diverse music. The most treasured parts of my experience involved interacting with residents and exploring numerous places in Mexico, such as El Palacio de Justicia de Jalisco. Vocabulary didn't pose much difficulty. This phrase implies that a particular decision or action was not challenging or problematic, suggesting it was relatively easy to make or accomplish. Held a desire. To hold a desire means to have a strong wish, want, or longing for something. Sufficient savings to sustain myself. This refers to having enough money set aside to support one's financial needs and maintain a certain standard of living. I supplemented my income. This means that the person earned additional money to complement their primary source of income. Immersing myself fully. To immerse oneself fully means to become deeply involved or engaged in a particular environment, culture, or experience. Proved instrumental. This phrase indicates that something played a crucial role or was essential in achieving a specific outcome. Rapid acquisition. Rapid acquisition refers to the quick and efficient learning or acquisition of knowledge, skills, or language. I found myself conversing with locals. This means that the speaker unexpectedly and naturally engaged in conversations with local residents, highlighted by my insatiable love for the incredible empanadas. This phrase emphasizes the speaker's strong and unquenchable affection for the delicious empanadas, making them a standout aspect of their experience. Homesickness. Homesickness is the feeling of longing for one's home, typically experienced when someone is away from their familiar environment. Culture shock. Culture shock is the disorientation and discomfort one can feel when exposed to a different culture or way of life, often accompanied by unfamiliar customs and practices. Felt oddly familiar. This phrase describes the sensation of something being strangely recognizable or similar, even though it is in a new or different context. Sharing profound similarities. This means that two things have significant and meaningful resemblances or commonalities. Seasoned cuisine. Seasoned cuisine refers to food that is prepared with a variety of flavorful spices and ingredients. Hospitable residents. Hospitable residents are people who are welcoming, friendly, and accommodating to visitors or guests. The most treasured part of my experience. This phrase identifies the most cherished or valued aspect of the speaker's experience. El Palacio de Justicia de Jalisco. This is a specific place, the Palace of Justice in the Mexican state of Jalisco, likely a notable location or landmark with legal significance. Analyze. A few years ago, I made the decision to spend a year in Mexico, a choice that didn't pose much difficulty, meaning, a few years in the past, I decided to live in Mexico for a year, and this decision was relatively easy for me to make. I had long held a desire to explore a Spanish speaking country, and so I did just that, meaning I had wanted to visit a country where Spanish is spoken for a long time, and I finally fulfilled that desire by going to Mexico. With sufficient savings to sustain myself in Guadalajara for the year, I supplemented my income by teaching English on the side, meaning I had enough money saved to support myself in Guadalajara for the entire year, and I also earned extra income by working as an English teacher. Immersing myself fully in the local culture and environment proved instrumental in my rapid acquisition of Spanish phrases and vocabulary, meaning I became fully involved in the local culture and surroundings, and this greatly helped me learn Spanish words and phrases quickly. My stay in Guadalajara was a delightful experience, highlighted by my insatiable love for the incredible empanadas available there, meaning I had a wonderful time living in Guadalajara, and one of the standout features of my experience was my strong affection for the amazing empanadas that were available in the area. Surprisingly, I didn't experience much homesickness or culture shock, meaning, to my surprise, I didn't feel very homesick or experience significant culture shock while in Mexico. Mexico felt oddly familiar, sharing profound similarities with my own culture, such as its seasoned cuisine, hospitable residents, and diverse music, meaning Mexico seemed strangely familiar to me because it had notable similarities to my own culture, including its flavorful cuisine, friendly residents, and varied music. The most treasured part of my experience involved interacting with residents and exploring numerous places in Mexico, such as El Palacio de Justicia de Jalisco, meaning the most valuable aspect of my time in Mexico was connecting with the local people and visiting various places in the country, including notable sites like the Jalisco Palace of Justice, El Palacio de Justicia de Jalisco. Test. What motivated the author to spend a year in Mexico? How did the author supplement their income while living in Guadalajara? How long did it take the author to start conversing with locals in Spanish? What was the author's favorite part of their stay in Guadalajara? Did the author experience homesickness or culture shock in Mexico? What similarities did the author find between Mexican culture and their own? Which place did the author mention visiting in Mexico? What was the author's primary means of sustenance in Mexico? How did the author feel about their experience in Guadalajara? What aspect of the author's experience in Guadalajara, Mexico, is described as a delightful experience in the passage? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. For more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel.